Hello, friends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Michelle Fondin. I'm an author and speaker, and this is Chat with the Author Live. Now, I know this is a relatively new format, and a lot of you watch this on replay. But if you do happen to show up here live, please say hello, put something in the chat. And this is a topic live stream based on one of my published books. Today, we're talking about chakra healing for vibrant energy, exploring your 7 energy centers with mindfulness, yoga, and Ayurveda. And today's topic is the chakras and Kundalini. This is really about what is Kundalini? What is a Kundalini awakening, and how is it related to the chakras? Because it's very, very related to the chakras. I feel like a lot of people say, oh, I'm going through a Kundalini awakening, but they actually have no idea what that means. They hear some buzzwords, some symptoms, but they really have no clue what that actually means. And so I'm going to clarify that for you a little bit today. I do talk a little bit about Kundalini in this book, Chakra Healing for Vibrant Energy. I talk a lot about the chakras and yoga poses and yoga breathing and Ayurvedic remedies for each of the chakras. So we are going to get started. I have an announcement to make first, though. I am doing a meditation course starting January 26th. That is a combo course. It is online from my website, which is the online meditation course, as well as Zoom calls. So you get 4 Zoom calls with me. There's also a bonus that's happening, and that is called the Dharma Workshop, Finding Your Life's Purpose. But you can still sign up for that course. The link is in the info box to sign up for the meditation course. You will get your personalized mantra based on Vedic astrology, which is Indian astrology. So I'll need your birth date, birth time, birthplace in order to get you your mantra. But that's a great course if you've been thinking about learning meditation for 2025. It's a fantastic meditation course. I know because I first took this course before I was certified to teach it. And it's based on Primordial Sound Meditation course from Deepak Chopra. And that is the way I learned. That is what I teach. I call it immersion into meditation because I also put in some of the information that I've learned over the years into the course. So there you are. If you are here watching this, please do say hello in the chat, say where you're from, and I will respond when I see your chat. So let's talk a little bit about the chakras and Kundalini and what it is and what is a Kundalini awakening, because a lot of people know that word Kundalini from spiritual circles, from spiritual videos. If you've been on the twin flame journey, or you've had a spontaneous spiritual awakening, or you've been spiritually awakened for quite some time, you may have heard this word, Kundalini and Kundalini awakening. And you might have even thought, well, based on the symptoms, I'm going through a Kundalini awakening. So let's just clarify what that is and where it comes from. So it actually comes from Tantric philosophy. Yes, I did say the word Tantra. Tantric philosophy, which is a parallel philosophy to yogic philosophy. It's not exactly the same system. They are like parallel systems. So there's Tantra, and then there's Vedanta. And there, of course, are the Yoga Sutras, which are based on the Upanishads, which is ancient Vedic philosophy, ancient Vedic texts. So around the time between 3,000 to 4,000 years ago, when yoga was formed, a parallel philosophy called Tantra was actually formed. And a lot of people look at Tantra and they're like, oh, it has to do with sex. And actually, that is mentioned like this much in Tantra philosophy, like this much compared to like this much in the Tantric philosophy. So a lot of people take that as like, oh, that's what Tantra is about. And Tantra is not about that. So the whole point and purpose of Tantra is to awaken this energy, this Kundalini energy. And there's a whole yoga organization based on Kundalini yoga. And the whole point and purpose of Kundalini yoga is to awaken the Kundalini energy. Now, what is the Kundalini energy? So we have to backtrack just a little bit. So when we talk about the chakras and when we talk about Kundalini, we are referring to the energetic body. So we're not referring to anything completely physical. Although since you're an integrated being, there are physical parts of you that are connected to your energy body, right? The energetic points, like think of that like acupuncture. Most people know or know of acupuncture. They know of acupressure, for example. And what acupuncture does, what acupressure does, is it takes certain meridians in the body as energetic points to release trapped energy so that the flow of energy and information can circulate throughout the body in order to heal you, for example. So the chakras and this Kundalini energy is part of that energetic body that I was speaking about. And so it's not a physical component of you and who you are. It's an energetic component. Now, the chakras, Kundalini energy, were felt by ancient yogis, seers, meditators in ancient times. So they didn't have Google to tell them what it was. They didn't have YouTube to tell them what it was. It's that they actually felt this energy after long periods of meditation. They felt this energy through rapid breathing techniques, such as the Bhastrika breath, such as the Kapalabhati breath that's in yoga. If you've ever taken a yoga class or you've ever taken a Kundalini yoga class, you've probably experienced these more rapid types of breathing, or just by doing yoga, you may have experienced a little bit of this Kundalini energy. So ancient yogis, ancient meditators experience this type of ascending energy that starts at the base of the spine. So in Chinese medicine, they call these energy points or meridians, but in Indian medicine or in Indian Tantra, Vedic philosophy, they call these nadis, N-A-D-I. Now, this is really important to understand Kundalini. So I know it might sound like a lot of like words and mumbo jumbo, but this is really important for you to understand what is Kundalini and where does it come from. So these nadis are circulatory channels throughout the body. We have 72,000 of these circulatory channels throughout the body. Now think of them, if you're familiar with Chinese medicine, think of them like acupressure points. So we have 72,000 of these circulatory channels, and we have these three main channels, They align the spine, and this is where Kundalini comes into play. So we have the Ida Nadi, which is the left channel, the Pingala Nadi, which is the right channel, and we have the Sushumna Nadi, which is the central channel. Now, it is said that these energy centers sit at the base of the spine, the Ida and the Pingala, like serpents all coiled up. So when you're in deep meditation, when you are doing yoga, such as Kundalini yoga, when you're doing rapid or intense yogic breathing as an exercise, it is said that you awaken the Ida and Pingala nadis, the right and the left channels, or the left and the right channels, and that they awaken at the base of the spine, which is the root chakra. That's where the chakras come in. They sit at the base of the spine, at the root chakra, and since they're coiled like serpents, they awaken and they begin at the root. And then think of the Sushumna Nadi as a central column, just like your spinal cord. And so these coiled serpents, if you will, these serpents of energy, they begin to arise, but in a circular crisscross pattern around the spine. And so sometimes if you see someone in a very intense, deep meditation, you will notice that sometimes they start rocking. And in fact, if you've ever viewed the videos that I did for twin flames on the meditations for the chakras for twin flames, if you go back and you look up the second chakra meditation for twin flames, you will see that in the meditation, I was spontaneously doing this. And I wasn't forcing it to happen. I was in meditation and it just happened. So you will sometimes see meditators like either swaying side to side or doing this like little circular pattern, or even rocking or this side to side or front to back. And that is the awakening of the Kundalini energy. That is the awakening of the Ida and Pingala nadis around the central nadi, the Sushumna nadi that aligns the spine. So it's really important to understand that during a Kundalini awakening, that is exactly what is happening. Now, here's where I get a little skeptical when all of these YouTubers start posting about, I had my Kundalini awakening and it was just spontaneous. Now, sometimes, yes, that does happen. It does happen. However, yogis, monks, spend years, if not decades, going through these repetitive practices to get the awakening of the Kundalini. It's not something that just happens spontaneously, usually, right? Usually on a normal basis. Kundalini awakening is not something that happens spontaneously. It does happen, but it's usually a shock to the system. Because as the two central nadis are moving in a serpentine manner around the central nadi, the Sushumna nadi, they are moving through the 7 main chakras. Again, that's how the chakras come in. And what are chakras? Chakras are vortices. They are energy centers that align the spine. Now, we also have more chakras. There are about 104 chakras. There are more chakras than the 7 main chakras. But for the sake and purpose of Kundalini rising, Kundalini awakening, the 7 main chakras are the focal point. They're the focal point for this awakening. So what happens is, as these energies are in that serpentine, as they're going around the central nadi, the Sushumna nadi, around the spinal cord, they're starting this intense energy from the base. They're moving through the 2nd chakra, 3rd chakra, 4th, 5th, 6th, and then finally up to the 7th. But it's usually stated in the sacred texts that it's actually, they stop actually right here at the 3rd eye. So the transcendence really happens at the 3rd eye chakra, which is the 6th chakra, the Ajna chakra. That is where the Ida and Pingala nadis meet. They conjoin with the central nadi, the Sushumna nadi, and that is where there is clairvoyance. That is where there is way heightened intuition. That is where the burst of energy tends to come from. So the reason why it's not really for beginners, or usually a Kundalini awakening does not happen spontaneously on a typical basis, as I mentioned, ancient yogis, meditators, monks, seers spent years, decades, their whole lives in meditation, yoga, deep breathing, fasting, in order to have this Kundalini awakening to happen. So this was not an overnight deal, because the body must be purified to be able to adequately experience such an intense awakening. The body must be prepared. The mind must be prepared. If not, you can go literally insane from such an enormous amount of energy that is coming through the spinal cord and through the chakras. It's just this, it's kind of where the psychic energy, the energy body meets matter. And matter is very dense, right? You know this. You have bones that are seemingly very dense. You have blood. You have your skin. You have your hair. You have your skeletal structure, right? Everything is dense in the matter form. So imagine this strong energy moving itself upward through matter. Well, if there are energetic blockages as a result of matter not being completely aligned, then you're going to encounter a lot of physical symptoms, emotional symptoms that happen as a result of that. So that's why people get very symptomatic if they have a spontaneous awakening. They get a lot of crazy symptoms that are generally very fatiguing to them. And in the mind, they can feel like they're going completely insane. Because if the mind is not prepped and ready for this type of intense energy, then it just makes you feel like you're not yourself anymore, but in a big way. So how can you tell if you're having a Kundalini awakening? You're usually going to feel some sort of energy moving up from the base of the spine, up through to the crown of the head. But really, like I said, it mainly stops somewhere around the third eye chakra first. So, and before ascending into the crown chakra and above, as I mentioned, when you are deep in meditation, you can actually feel it by, again, the body swaying side to side, moving back and forth. You will even maybe go into a circular pattern during meditation, because that's the Ida and the Pingala nadis that are just winding around. Now, some of you might be thinking, this is nuts. This is crazy. You're just making this all up. Like, how can energy that is dormant, supposedly, and through meditation or breathing or yoga, how can that energy cause you to spontaneously move? That is nutty. I don't know how it happens. It just happens. It really does happen. Energy is strong, and this type of energy, and that's why it's been written about for 4,000 years, this type of energy is extremely powerful and strong and guides you toward this higher level energy. And so that's how it's connected to the chakras. Now, you might be wondering as well, how can I prepare myself for a spiritual awakening, Kundalini awakening? How can I ease the pain of such intense energy that is moving up the spine? So one of the ways in which you can prepare for that is to do chakra healing. Now, you can do chakra healing in many, many different ways. So one of the ways, I have plenty of exercises in this book that guide you through diet, exercise, yoga poses, yogic breathing. You can use energetic crystals that are related to that chakra, meditating on that. You can go through a series of Reiki healings per chakra. There are so many things that you can do to prepare the chakras for an awakening. Now, for those of you that have gone through a spontaneous spiritual awakening and had this Kundalini activation that happened because, for example, you met a twin flame and that caused this crazy emotional and energetic spiritual awakening, which I know a lot of people have had. A lot of people have had that spontaneous opening, and that does happen. But you can still go back and heal each of the chakras, because that doesn't mean you're healed. It means that you had an experience. You had an experience of that Kundalini rising from the root chakra up. But the pain, the sorrow, the crying, the emotions, the physical pain, some of the symptoms that arrived because of the spiritual awakening, and as a result of that, like the Kundalini awakening happening spontaneously without you being adequately physically prepared, it just means that it will be much easier on your body as that opening continues if you start healing the body from the root chakra up. Now, it doesn't mean that there might be a chakra for you that is more blocked than another chakra, but it's always wise to start with the base chakra, because the first 4 chakras, starting at the base, the root chakra, from starting with there, they are the chakras of matter. Now, the heart actually combines matter and spirit, but most of us have some heart healing to do. I'm sure you know that. Most of us, if not all of us, have some heart healing to do. So starting the healing from the root chakra, going up to the second chakra, the third, really focusing on those first three is going to be crucial to help you understand how to clear the pathway for this Kundalini rising. Now, this is something that I heard not from me, not from my book, but I heard it from teachings of Jeffrey Wolf Green. Now, he is the father of evolutionary astrology. And as some of you know, I've been studying evolutionary astrology for the past 2.5 years. And in one of his videos, I actually bought his video course that's on DVD. So I can only watch it in one place where I have a DVD player. He mentioned about spontaneous Kundalini awakening. And he also mentioned, like, sometimes people go through yoga and then they have this Kundalini awakening. But he said a lot of people equate the Kundalini awakening to intense sexuality, like an elevation of this sexual energy. And he said it's not that. He said the reason many people equate, hence the distorted view of Tantra, right? That is the distorted view of what Tantra is about. So he said the reason why, and this was God, he was teaching in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. So this video was from 1994. So this is, again, before Google, before YouTube, before social media. So he said the reason a lot of people equate a Kundalini awakening to sexual energy is because most people are so blocked in the first three chakras. They have so much garbage going on in the first three chakras, whether they're physically blocked, they're emotionally blocked, they're psychically blocked, they're energetically blocked, that the Kundalini that's sitting at the root chakra is trying to move upward, right? It's trying to move up the spine. It gets stuck at the second chakra because it's like, whoops, nope, can't go anywhere more because there's so many blockages here, cannot move upward. And so the serpents, if you will, think of them as coiled serpents moving up from the base of the spine. They get stuck at the second chakra, and it's a lot of energy. Think of it as like a fire. When you start a fire, the flames have to go upward. There's nowhere for the flames to go. They have to move upward. And if they don't move upward, they're going to get stuck and they're going to burn what's ever there. So when it gets stuck at the second chakra, well, that's the creativity and sexual center. So if you haven't done your physical healing, your emotional healing, your energetic healing, and the Ida and Pingala nadis get stuck at the second chakra, the creativity and sexual center, and it can't move forward until you've done your work, then a lot of people equate that to sexual energy. So, a spiritual awakening must mean sexual energy, or a Kundalini awakening must mean sexual energy. And that's actually not what it is at all. So I just wanted to clarify that for you, if that was a question in your mind, especially when I mentioned that Kundalini, the chakras, all of that comes from Tantric philosophy and not yogic philosophy. There are parallel systems that are extremely close in nature. There was just, philosophically, there weren't a lot of crossovers. So there you go. That's just a brief explanation of Kundalini awakening, and how the chakras come into that. So if you have had awakening symptoms, if you have had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening and are symptomatic, just work on healing the lower chakras first, and that actually will help that Kundalini rise a little bit higher. so that then you can work on the heart chakra, the throat chakra, and where it really meets at the third eye chakra. So that was just a little brief explanation. I hope that was super helpful for you, especially if you're watching this on replay and you're wondering about this whole Kundalini thing, right? So do check out my book, Chakra Healing for Vibrant Energy. It is available in paperback, Kindle, and Audible. And very, very soon, I'm coming out with a brand new book on the Yoga Sutras and the 8 limbs of yoga, or I should reverse that, because it is called The 8 Limbs of Yoga for Modern Times, a practical guide to the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So if you are into yoga, if you're into yogic philosophy, this book is perfect for you, especially if you're a yoga teacher or a yoga teacher in training, or you run a yoga teacher training program. That book is going to be perfect for your yoga students. So I want to thank you so much for joining me here today. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. Click on the bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. Thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this content with others who could use a little bit of a chakra healing or knowledge on their spiritual awakening. And I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.